want to reiterate and restate for those who haven't heard it before, the mission of RocGrowth is to empower the new generation. It's not only young people in the new generation, but people who haven't been as engaged in leadership positions and driving the region as they should be. Sharing inspirational stories from our great innovators and entrepreneurs. And if you go to the website, you'll see a whole catalog or archive of previous lightning rounds that have been recorded professionally, as well as our Candid series. And third is to cause these creative collisions. Hopefully we've had a few already. And finally, something we adopted several years ago is we felt that everything we should do should be informed by promoting greater diversity of race, class, gender, and age. And what I see in this room is very different from what we saw 4 years ago when we launched. So I feel very, very good about that. Because diversity is one of the great assets in this community, and we don't necessarily embrace it all the time, or actually many times we don't. So I'm going to share with you, I've been blogging a lot. I've sort of been very passionate the last few years about certain things I've seen and I've worked hard on since I moved here 23 years ago. And I've been now publishing them because I have a good editor and more of a platform. First of all, they appear on the RocGrowth site in the Rochester Beacon. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Rochester Beacon, I encourage you to go to the website and register. We are lacking in terms of the fourth estate, and without a healthy press, democracy doesn't survive. And we actually have seen in the current, political environment, the national press is perking up, and even though there's a lot of pivoting, but the local press has been clobbered. And the Rochester Beacon, which is a nonprofit, it's an initiative, a whole bunch of entrepreneurs and former journalists are behind it. And I've had 2 recent posts, and I'm just going to address them in big terms, and it might be, again, a paradigm shift for you. First of all, economic development is too important to delegate to the politicians and the economic development officials. We need to direct the economy. Business people need to direct the economy. And I've appeared in city council and spoken about various issues over the last couple of years, and I always emphasize my gratitude for their public service, the people on city council, but I'd like to remind them they're working for us. All these people, I even heard in my neighborhood association last week, Cuomo's giving us money for the river. No, that's our money. So hopefully, even by coming out here today, you've exhibited some more engagement and willingness to affect change. I would love to see you pay attention to the forthcoming report from the Boston Consulting Group that has been retained by some very prominent business people to develop a plan. First of all, do an assessment of our community and develop a plan. And I've written about it. And my suggestions, and I'm trying to effectuate this sort of change, involve greater collaboration and engagement by the new leaders in this community, not just trying to restore the old white guys that used to get together in a room and get stuff done in this town. And we have a prosperous town because the business leaders cared and they felt a civic responsibility. The complexion of the people who are going to, I hope, emerge to direct economic development in our region should look different, but there is that void. I might even settle for the old white guys at this point because it is too important to rely on Empire State Development, a county that doesn't talk to the city, and we have a propensity throughout upstate to look to government to save us, and that's not going to happen. And I will reveal to you that if you go to Albany and you ask for something, you're giving up something, because we have a downstate in the state. And if you want a Long Island assemblyman or senator to vote and support your cause, you're going to have to give them something, and their interests don't always align with ours. And many of these people in these public policy positions do not understand business like we do. And finally, on the final note, I had mentioned about our mission statement. When we try to, and we have all the, it's sinful to forego and miss this opportunity. We have so much going for us, particularly in the Rochester region, but everything we do should be informed by social justice. We have problems that are structural. They're a weight, they're a ball behind our, we're dragging around, ball and chain. And if it's not just a moral imperative, it's an economic imperative. And the creative class, the innovators around economic development, can address many of the social issues. We're not going to solve them all. Poverty has been around since the beginning of mankind. Racism has been around since the first white person stepped on the shores of this country. But we can make a ding in the universe and make Rochester a shining example for the rest of the country. So thank you.